Story 1. Not sure how many benefits I got that nobody talks about. It sort of depends on which negatives you suffer from in the first place. I got rid of acid reflux and sleep apnea. I also don't get random back pain anymore. I don't start to sweat from bending down or climbing stairs. I can put on my socks without sitting down. I don't have to check the weight limit if I am buying things you sit on, such as chairs, exercise equipment, or horses. Fewer issues with airplane or bus seats being too cramped. Fewer bounty hunters confuse me with Jabba the Hutt. Story 2. Lost 18 kilograms. Sweat heaps less these days. Also, just the noticeable difference in the weight you carry around with you every day. To break out into a jog seems almost effortless nowadays. Story 3. When I lost a lot of weight a few years ago, I had a lot more energy. I wasn't feeling depressed, and there were more women interested in me. Now, after changing jobs, I have regained that weight and I'm feeling terrible. This kind of job isn't helping me stay healthy. Story 4. I'm not sure what you would classify as significant. However, the exercise and healthier diet just made me so much happier. It was like it lifted a gray cloud that was constantly sitting over me. Story 5. Pretty much everything. You sleep better, breathe better, have so much more energy. Aches and pains associated with weight are gone. You get better erections. You fit into cars better, into seats better. Clothes you don't have to search for to find your size. I felt like my life until that point was just a dream. A mental weight was also gone. My depression just disappeared and I was left with this confidence and clarity. Sadly, my weight loss only lasted about a year and a half until I gained it all back and then some. Forgot to mention, but just everyday activities most people take for granted. Even walking for more than 5 minutes is a bit strenuous. You're just slower than everyone else. Story 6. Not sure if 20 pounds is significant, but I dropped 20 pounds and this is what I noticed. I can wear clothes I haven't been able to. I have slim fit dress shirts that I could barely button 6 months ago without looking like an overweight stuffed sausage. I wore one to work the other day, and it fit like it was meant to. Men tend to focus on their bellies, but you'll lose weight everywhere. I stopped wearing ties because my dress shirts were choking me if I buttoned the collar button. I can comfortably wear ties again. Simple things are easier because you're simply carrying less weight around, like carrying a heavy ladder or bags of groceries. You're asking your body to move less weight, which is an obvious statement, but it's amazing how it really makes a difference. Tying your shoes doesn't seem like a chore. You might upset your wife or significant other, especially if both of you struggle with weight, because men tend to be able to drop weight easier. Whatever method you use to lose the weight will become the norm after a few months. For me, it was becoming more active and eliminating pasta, rice, and bread. It was hard at first. Now I don't crave those things like I used to. And I grew up in an Italian household and married a Hispanic woman. So it may seem stereotypical, but pasta and rice were seriously food staples in my life. Story 7. I was 240 pounds when the pandemic started. Now I am at 195 pounds or lower, and I feel amazing. I sleep better, move faster, and can fit into clothes I haven't been able to wear since 2019. Story 8. I started doing intermittent fasting and a 2,000-meter row every day. That combination was good for losing 30 pounds in 2.5 months while toning everything up. I started at 9 minutes and 16 seconds to do 2,000 meters, and now I am at 7 minutes and 56 seconds. The last 500 meters is torture, but it gets easier every day. I feel so much better in every way, especially mentally. Self-loathing and feelings of stagnation were replaced by being impressed with myself and noticing how much better I look. I need a belt with every pair of pants, and I had to poke a new belt hole. That felt great, as it was visual proof of progress. Everyone else notices, too, which helps boost self-confidence. I experience less joint pain, and I can easily move around and crouch without discomfort. Driving is more comfortable because the seat belt doesn't cut into my gut. I sleep better, snore less, and make my wife much happier. Physical exertion is more effortless with faster recovery. I carried a 30-pound bag of potting soil out to the backyard and realized it was what I had been carrying on my body all the time before I lost the weight. I'm never going back to that dark time again. Story 9. Started at 240, Got down to 179, back to 200 now. Weight loss had several benefits I had not considered. First off, I could sleep on my back without choking on my neck fat. Second, missionary sex was better because I did not feel like I was crushing my wife. Yes, the penis looked bigger, but more I could see what was going on, which was a huge turn on. My gym reopens on Tuesday, and I will be back down to 180 if it kills me. Story 10. About 15 years ago, over a period of 14 months, I went from around 320 pounds to 185 pounds, mostly through a ketogenic diet and exercise once I'd lost enough to exercise. I stopped snoring. Sleep apnea went away. Knees, hips, and back felt much better. More energy, more stamina. I could fit comfortably in car seats and airplane seats, which was pretty great. But, I think the biggest thing that maybe people don't talk about much was the feeling that I was in control. I wasn't a victim. Gaining weight felt like something I couldn't stop and couldn't manage. Losing it reminded me that I am in control of this situation, and by God, if I didn't like it, I could do something about it. Story 11. I'll get back to you after I've lost a significant amount of weight I'm carrying. I didn't expect this comment to get significant attention, but it has. People have suggested they would like to join in the fun, so I'm going to start a little support group for anyone who sees this and would like to lose weight and have some people around them to make it less daunting. Message me for an invite link. Story 12. Literally, my entire physique and psyche work better when I'm fit. Seriously, whatever specific example I give simply won't cut it. Everything works better. You feel better in every regard. I made the mistake of quitting sports and letting myself go once, and if it's up to me, I'm never doing that again. Story 13. My boyfriend lost about 70 pounds, and one of the biggest changes he noticed is that hot days barely affect him anymore. Before, he used to be so tired and sweaty, but now he can handle them. Story 14. I lost 75 pounds last year and went on a walk with my wife to an area I hadn't been since I was at my heaviest. It felt like just the day before that I was walking around at 275 in that exact spot, so I've never felt lighter in my life. It was very encouraging. Story 15. Looking good naked. Confidence. Fewer random pains. No acid reflux. Was taking an omeprazole a day for 2 years. Enjoying clothing, rather than just wearing the same baggy stuff. Story 16. You produce more testosterone, which makes you feel better, want more sex, have harder erections, do things that you haven't done before, and be a general king. You are not only fat on your hips, but also fat and lazy in every aspect of your body and mind. You probably can't imagine how much energy you could have. Story 17. Lost 10 kilograms between August and December last year. Before that, I had done virtually no fitness training since 2014 due to knee problems from the military. I feel a lot better about myself as I'm no longer chubby, and I have a lower chance of getting my abdomen burned by spot welder sparks. There's also less weight on my knees. I am 27 years old and 5 feet 9 inches tall. I first weighed myself in September at around 90 kilograms. At the moment, I'm stuck at around 80 kilograms. I just need to slim down more, get rid of the fat around the abdomen, and lose what's left of the love handles. Story 18. Honestly, I've just been in a better mood. My body was very oblong for a while. I did sports in high school, lacrosse and wrestling, and I got pretty ripped, but for wrestling, I basically starved myself because that's just something you do. But as I got older, I gained weight, but the weird thing is it was only my gut. The rest of my body maintained its shred, for lack of a better term. So for a long time, I had big muscular arms, my legs were very muscular like always, but I had this weird gut. All I know is it took a very long time, but I'm down to 212 pounds, and my arms and shoulders look amazing, and I just feel good every day. No more sweating through shirts. And speaking of shirts, now I can wear my favorite t-shirts without having these weird love handles stretching out my shirts in odd places. Story 19. People treat you better. I have had issues with my weight all my life. About 4 years ago, I lost 60 pounds and noticed a dramatic shift in people's attitudes towards me. They were much friendlier, open to small conversations, and just more personable. I gained about 30 pounds back, changed jobs, and am again on the side of losing weight and have noticed the attitude shift again. Blood pressure, acid reflux, Clothes that fit again instead of must have shrunk in the washer or dryer. Back hurts less, and the list goes on. Story 20. Sleeping better, not feeling like death in the morning, having much more energy. Probably wasn't just losing weight because I started running like a madman and got really fit as well, but I'm sure I'm much clearer headed now than I used to be. I make much better decisions and don't get bogged down in negativity. Story 21. I have recently lost 25 kilograms. I'm still just obese, but I've noticed a lot of change. I feel more active and generally my face is more structured. My friends, mostly female friends, have been raving about how my face looks sharper and they can actually see my features, which I agree feels amazing. I realized I have a chin after an entire life of obesity, and I have nice cheekbones and a jawline structure. I never knew. You feel better about yourself, and that's what truly matters. Also, penile function is better. You avoid knee pain and can run better too. Story 22. You will get cold. I had to get used to wearing sweats around the house again. Also, running as a fit person feels really good. Feels like your legs are springs because you feel so light. Story 23. I didn't lose as much weight as everyone else here, but I did lose 25 pounds over quarantine and have maintained weight. Aside from the obvious benefits like being more confident, not feeling tired all the time, and not having sore feet after long shifts, my favorite benefit is not overheating all the time. It used to be that if I moved around too much in anything over 70 degrees, I would be uncomfortable or sweating, and I could not even go out in anything over 80-degree weather. Now I'm perfectly fine in the 70s, and as long as I take it easy in the 80s, that's not too bad either. Also, I got a lot better at sex and my anxiety was reduced and a lot easier to control. I'm not sure if those are benefits of weight loss, exercise, or just psychological things that come with feeling more confident. Story 24. I didn't lose a significant amount of weight, maybe 20 pounds at most, but I started experiencing déjà vu moments, remembering little things from years ago. I kind of attributed it to the feeling of having no belly fat and my college weight triggering flashback memories. I'm not sure if that was the connection, but I did experience it. Story 25. So, I went from 6'1", 400 pounds, 181 kilograms, to 200 pounds, 91 kilograms, but currently 250 pounds, 113 kilograms. A few observations. Energy levels are much better, but a large portion of that is based on eating healthier in general. If I start slacking for a couple of days, I feel a noticeable difference in energy levels and get fatigued more easily. It is exceptionally easier to get around and participate in group activities. I would get winded going upstairs, was slow, and would slow groups down if there was a lot of movement involved. Related to the above, after becoming consistent with exercise, it is very freeing to know that whatever physical activities come up, I can handle them. I remember actually being excited to help someone move and literally running around carrying boxes just because I had the energy and ability to do so. There are so many more clothing options. Before, I was basically relegated to only wearing what I could find that fit. I would have to go to multiple different stores to find maybe one or two articles of clothing. I literally cried with happiness when I started fitting into normal sizes. Appearance is different just due to the rest of me being smaller and less fat around the pubic area. When I was closer to 200 pounds, I was training for kickboxing fights, and at the later stages of weight cuts, I would get cold very easily. I was literally wearing sweatshirts midsummer because I was always cold. Losing the weight doesn't automatically make you get out of the fat guy mentality. I was very morbidly obese from 11 to my late 20s. Even at my fight weight, I felt like I was too big, needed to lose more, tried not to stand out in a crowd, etc. This is despite the fact that I was more physically fit and capable than most people at that time. Somewhat related to the above, loose skin from excessive weight loss after being obese for so long is challenging. Even though I am at relatively healthy weights, physically fit, and eat well, I have massive amounts of hanging skin with pockets of fat at the bottoms. It really hurts my self-image and is very hard to get over. Surgery would cost around $35,000, and almost no insurance in the United States will cover any of it. Story 26, most overlooked thing, you no longer think about it. Walking into a restaurant, do not think about anyone judging you. Walking up to a buffet, Do not think about anyone judging you. Walking by someone on the street, do not care. Heavy wind blowing, do not care. Meeting new people, do not care. It is hard to explain the amount of self-imposed stress you put on yourself when you are overweight. You are always thinking about what others are thinking. There was never a time your mind would rest. The removal of this thought process was by far the most amazing part of losing weight. I still remember the day I felt like I officially made it. I was at a wedding and everyone was taking their seats at this table. There was a buffet-style cheese, crackers, fruits, veggies, etc. for people to eat while we waited for all the guests to arrive. No one was going up there. No one wanted to be the first to do it. I remember thinking to myself, forget that I am going to go and eat. No one is going to think, of course, the overweight person would be the first. After I went up there, people rushed to the table.